and welcome to Tag Tuesday. I ain't gonna lie, I started over because I said something stupid. This was my week to take over. These were questions that I didn't come up with. I found them. I did make one of them up. Did you ever figure out which one I made up? I told him try to figure out which one I made up. But while Tracy over at Trials of Long Hair Girl is getting ready for surgery, which I think is coming up this week or early next week, I can't remember. Seems like it's the 28th maybe. So while she's getting ready for that, and then when she has it, she's recuperating. Myself and Joan at Joan's Point of Plate and Sandy at Let's Get Fit with Sandy, we're taking over the Tag Tuesday. So it was my week. And this one over here is not too thrilled with my questions. Are you?
Some of them's just hard for me to come up with.
Blah, 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 blah. I'll answer for him. So, I'm tagging Sandy and Joan. So let's just get started. This is all about me tag. I just thought it'd be fun for y'all to learn some little things about us that maybe you didn't know. And I've not read these.
Some things you might not want to learn about us.
I can tell already. But I hadn't looked at these since I wrote them out this morning, so listen, I might not like them neither. Anyway, number 1. If you could live anywhere, where would it be? That's an easy one. Where would you live?
I really like where I'm at. I mean, you get a little bit of everything. You get warmth, you get hot, you get a little bit of snow.
Except for the past 2 years.
Yeah, I'd say the law of average, you get just a little bit of everything where we live here in North Carolina.
I think you know where I'd live.
Mountains.
You got that right. If he had a job and he didn't have to drive in the snow, blinky eyes and that quick, I'd be living in the North Carolina mountains. No other mountains, no other state. The North Carolina mountains. Number 2, what jobs have you done in the past or are doing now? Well, we know I don't work, and we know he's a truck driver. So what jobs did you have before you drove a truck?
Oh, man. My first job was working in a hydraulic fitting factory. What you do is you had like a machine that you put the actual hose in, the fitting, put the machine would clamp them on, and I done that, took inventory, stuff like that.
Well, that was not really your first job.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. What was your first job as a little boy?
Okay, my first job actually, that one I actually got paid for.
You got paid for the little one, 10 cents.
Well, I got paid for cleaning brick and cement block. There was a guy that lived on the other side of my neighborhood, and he owned a construction business. And what he would do is he would go to these job sites and get brick and block and reuse them, and he would pay me to clean them, clean the mortar off.
Little boy, he's worked his whole life. When I tell you he's the hardest working man I've ever known, he started young.
Yeah, I was probably 13, 14 years old, something like that. And that was my actual first job. And then he would pay me to mow his yard. I'd done a little bit of everything for him. And then I went from there, when I got old enough to actually get my dad bought me a car. And he said, now, I'll buy the car, but you got to keep it up. And I said, okay. And that was when I turned 16. And so I went and got a job bagging groceries. And back then it was Food Town, this food line that you know as today. But
we are that old.
Yep. And it was Food Town. That was my first job, in the working area, out in the public. And then I left there.
I think you've been in the trucking business ever since.
When I turned 18, I started working in the trucking industry, working on the dock, checking freight. And that's how I got started. And then I went from there to, I was a checker at first, then I went to stacking. Then I went to driving the switcher, forklift.
Let's just speed this up. He's done everything in the trucking industry.
Yep.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to drag on there, but I mean, if y'all want to know.
Well, we normally don't get you to hardly talk. And then today, he didn't like these questions, though.
Well, I mean, I didn't know how in depth you wanted me to go. I mean, you know.
You know I'm messing with you.
No.
He knows. He knows all too well. I have done... What have I done? Now I'm about to forget what... You made me just forget what I've done. I've done closed captioning for a TV program. I have been a mortgage loan processor. That was the last 2 jobs I had. I had them at the same time. I have cleaned houses for years. Took Holly with me ever since she was in one of them little carry things. She went with me to clean houses up until she started kindergarten. Never bothered to think. She was such a good baby. I have worked as a secretary. That's what we call them back then. I think they're administrative assistants now.
Yep.
I've worked in restaurants. I've worked in Kmart's. I've done all kind of things. Number 3. If you had a warning label, what would it say?
Oh my gosh. Go ahead.
What would mine say? Step lightly.
Oh.
I know what mine would say. Has sudden mood swings. Watch your step.
Oh man.
Sharp curve ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
What would yours say?
I don't know what you always tell me. I'm the analyzer.
We'll analyze to
everything
death.
to do.
Prepare for a 30-minute talk on a 2-minute subject. He is an analyzer. Number 4. If you could join any past or current music group, which would it be? I know yours. I know yours as good as I'm sitting here.
You already know mine.
Def Leppard. Right?
Yep.
I started to say, if you tell me no, then I don't even know you for all these years.
Yep.
Listen, I like so many different kinds of music, but when I had to think of one group that I think I would like to hang with, not necessarily be a member of, be a what's the word I'm looking for? Honorary member.
Right.
Because I can't play music. Would be Queen.
Yeah.
I think that because I would have loved to be friends with Freddie Mercury. I think he would have been so much fun to be around. Don't you?
He was a hoot. Yeah.
Yes.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Number 5. What would you eat today if they stopped making food tomorrow?
Oh man.
What would I eat?
You got a few that would.
What do you think I'd probably say go get me?
And you like a good hunk of red meat, so I'd have to say a quarter-pound cheeseburger.
No,
Or,
I like a good hunk of meat.
Yeah. Like.
Oh God.
Okay, we're gonna delete that and start all over again.
No, we're not. They know how it goes. I would want a. I can't even talk now. A footlong all the way from Whataburger.
There you go.
What would you want?
Mine would have to be fried chicken,
And
mashed potatoes and gravy.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
You know,
Taters and chicken.
I think you watched this long enough to know I'm a big fried chicken fan. I love fried chicken.
What did I tell y'all about gravy? He'd eat gravy on a shoe. If money wasn't an object, what would you get for your next birthday?
Oh man. Would it have to be for myself?
No.
Or could
You can do whatever. If money was no object, what would you want for your birthday? Okay, while he's analyzing that question, I would get a lifetime masseuse who had to be at my beck and call. Not a one-time massage. Someone on my staff who would be by my side. Well, maybe I'd have to have 3, so I could have 3 shifts. So anytime I needed massaging, there would be somebody on staff. That's listen, I'm just not very altruistic, am I? Was you gonna get something for somebody else?
Well, man, it's hard.
Well, you'd want a Corvette, or you'd want a '69 Camaro.
Yeah, that.
Careful.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'd take my, if I could get my Carrera, that'd be good. Yeah.
Number 7. What was an embarrassing moment that you have experienced? Have you ever been embarrassed?
Yeah, but it might have been so embarrassing I blocked it out. Because I can't think of nothing.
You know what I thought of? And I really did. I just kind of passed it off. But if you think about it, it was just like on a cartoon show. I remember we went up to Abby's wedding, and I had on that long dress, one that drags the floor like a, what they call a maxi dress. And I went to the bathroom, and I had a slip on under there. And when I come out, I was walking around looking at her gifts, her little tables and this and that. And it was in the reception area where there's tables of all the people. And this woman come up behind me and she said, "Honey, your dress is up in your panties." Just like you see on cards, just like Rachel at the wedding.
Yep.
My dress was hiked up in my drawers.
I thought about that too.
They was hiked up in my drawers. That was embarrassing. Number 8, if you were given a $1,000 gift card, what store would it be for? Decisions.
Summit.
What?
Summit Racing.
What would you get?
Bunch of engine parts, stuff like that.
I have never heard of that. Summit Racing. Wow. What, to put on your '69 Camaro?
Yep.
Mine would, I was thinking, well, I want it to be the DT. Obviously, there's 1,000 things. But then I would also want it to be the Goodwill. Because I like the thrift. But then I would also want it to be Wanda's. But then I would also want it to be the Value Village. So, I'm torn.
Yeah.
If you wrote number 9, if you wrote a memoir about your life, what would it be called?
And the same thing as before. The Analyzer Bunny.
You're a doofus. The Analyzer Bunny by David Maness. Oh my God. Well, since I can't cuss on here, I won't be monetized. I will change the word, which is do be crazy.
Oh, man.
I think y'all know what I'm trying to say. Number 10. Now this is an easy one. Do you have or have you had a nickname?
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting on you to answer.
No, you go ahead.
Well, growing up, my mama called me D. Not DD, D. Because she did not want me to be named Kim. She didn't like Kim. She didn't like Kimberly. So she never called me that. And if she ever did, maybe twice in my whole entire life, it sounded weird. This one, he calls me Chickadee.
Yeah.
What you doing, Chickadee?
Yeah.
So what was your nickname?
Well, I'll try to keep this short.
Knock yourself out, baby.
When I was younger, we used to go to the river all the time. And like I told you in other videos, I lived on a riverbank when I was younger. And so there was a guy that was skiing that was part of the party, was on the same bank as we were. And so they were pulling each other around the lake on skis. Well, the guy come in, and when he did, he come in too fast. And when he hit the bank, he just went right out of the skis and up through the sand and up through the woods. And we thought he really got hurt bad. So my mom and dad and everything, they were up in lounge chairs up on the sand beach. And so they jumped up out of the chairs, went up there and, made sure he was okay, And so that's how our relationship began. We all became friends out of all that.
Huh.
And so we met Charles and Wanda through them, and we met Brana and Steve. Steve's the one that actually went up through the bank on the skis. And Charles was the one that was pulling him in the boat. And so we all got to talking, and we all became friends. And then we all started getting nicknames for each other. Because Steve's nickname was the Hip. That was his nickname. Everybody called him the Hip. And then his buddy, they called him Lard.
Lard?
Yep. And then his wife was Wilhelmina. And then it went on down the line. And then we had my mama's nickname was Flossie Jane. And then my dad's name was Georgie Pooh. And then my name was Clem. And then that's how everything got started. We all started having nicknames. Just because Steve had a nickname, we all made nicknames for everybody else. And
so you was Clem.
I was Clem. And
Clem Cadiddlehopper. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember who? Tell me down below. I'm not going to tell you who. Don't say it. Who played Clem? Ain't that his name? Clem Cadiddlehopper? Mm-hmm. Let me know down below. I know y'all know. Okay, well, that is it for the tag. And I've already tagged Sandy and I've already tagged Joan. So it wasn't too bad. You made it. You made it through.
Yeah.
Even talked a little bit. So we will see you on our next video. Bye.
Bye.